Shalaurus, you see the number that jumps off the page. Shalaurus, a late bloomer, turned pro in 2008. 39 years old at a 2-inch height and reach disadvantage against Nurmagomedov. How about some Bruce Buffer?
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC lightweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. This man is a mixed martial artist holding an undefeated professional record of 16 wins with no losses. Standing 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighing in at 155 pounds, fighting out of Fairfield, New Jersey, Habib, the Eagle, Nurmagomedov! And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. This man is a freestyle fighter, holding a professional record, 7 wins, 1 loss, 2 draws, standing 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing in at 155 and 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of Santa Monica, California, Kamal, Prince of Persia, Shalorus. And when the action begins, our referee in charge, Mario Yamasaki.
Mario Yamasaki shares the cage with Habib Nurmagomedov and Kamal Shalaurus. And just want to point out off the top here, Nurmagomedov, first time in the United States making his US and UFC debut, and has never fought in a cage before. So certainly expect some sort of adjustment period as Nurmagomedov gets his first takes of the octagon.
Yeah, all of his fights have been in Russia. He's used to the ring, and it is very different, as we know, just the strategy of not being able to sprawl fully against the cage, cornering, the angles, completely different.
Shalaurus with a big left hand, and Nurmagomedov pursues the takedown off of it, now has control of the neck.
Shalaurus looking to use his wrestling, typically look to throw those haymakers, those bombs, and will stay trading with his opponents, but definitely looking to put Nurmagomedov on his back right away. Very nice counter from Habib. Nurmagomedov is another one of these Russian fighters who comes from an excellent Sambo background. When he gets on top of you, he will land some nasty ground and pound. And interesting that Shalaurus is actually switching his stances repeatedly, going from southpaw now to righty, and you have to watch out for that big right hand from Shalaurus.
Yeah, you saw an earlier right hand was slipped by Nurmagomedov. We'll see how he handles the stance changes out of Shalaurus, who's back in the orthodox at present.
You know, Nurmagomedov has to keep this fight in the center of the cage. He's backing up, allowing Shalaurus to get cage control and get him up against the cage. And this is where that inexperience in the cage can be a factor. He has to keep it in the middle of the cage where he can't be pinned. He can use his striking, use his movement, use his footwork.
Able to check the high kick there from Shalaurus.
Good pressure from Shalaurus.
Well, if you want to draw the eye of the UFC brass, as Nurmagomedov certainly did, how about 7-0 in 2011 with 6 first-round finishes? That'll get you a shot in the big show, and here he is as we approach the halfway point here in round number 1 between Shalaurus and Nurmagomedov, and he comes in with a big left hand that finds its home.
Yeah, you know, he's a very clean and technical striker, but he will throw in some unorthodox techniques and definitely throw a fighter off. And he's looking early with the jab and with that left hook, but they're coming with some awkward attacks trying to throw Shalaurus off, and that was a big kick that definitely hurt Nurmagomedov on the inside of that left leg. Powerful guy is Shalaurus.
Big strike from Nurmagomedov. Shalaurus in a world of trouble right now. We'll see if the Russian can finish.
Caught him on the way in, and look at this brutal ground and pound. Not allowing him to get up, and from here, this is where Nurmagomedov will make you pay.
And Shalaurus in survival mode here. We'll see how much the Russian has left as he tries to pursue the finish. A couple more accurate strikes could do it.
This is not where Shalaurus wants to be. He needs to get back to his feet, recompose himself. He has an underhook where he can possibly get a single leg and escape from here. Nurmagomedov needs to get that underhook and try to kick him on his back. Switches to the back position. Nice transition from Harbib. He's relentless, John. Relentless with his position. He's always looking to advance and puts his pressure with his ground and pound. There he is. Moves into side mount and looking for some more ground and pound.
And you're right, does so with relative ease. Very fluid is the Russian on the ground.
This is where he's most dangerous. Shalaroos did a great job of getting back to his feet.
And there is no questioning the toughness and the heart of Kamal Shalaroos. Flipped with another left hand on the way up, but he's sticking his chin right in there, and as you might expect, the Nashvillians loving every minute of it.
Nurmagomedov definitely looked pretty gassed when he got back to his feet. Definitely didn't have that same snap in his punches when he got back to his feet there.
Nice knee to the midsection there, so perhaps the window closed for Nurmagomedov to get that first round finish. Shalaroos exerting a tremendous amount of toughness and eats another right hand, does Kamal Shalaroos. So Nashville liking what they've seen through the first 5 minutes. It'll be interesting to hear the message in the red corner.
Maybe let it cut, man. Let it cut, man. Okay, breathe for a second. Yeah. Breathe for a second. Okay, empty your lungs. Empty your lungs. You started up good.
Shalaroos going to the body there. Got caught as he was getting up.
Yeah, right under the chin there.
Kind of like a half hook, half uppercut. Kind of a shovel hook there. Boom. Right on the button.
And shows you the type of power Nurmagomedov has. I mean, 1 inch either way.
Yeah, it was just a short shot. And many times those are the ones that get you. It was accuracy.
And as we get ready for round number 2 here, 1 minute, Kenny, not a lot of time to recover when you've been knocked down the way Shalaroos was there in the first.
And for Nurmagomedov, who may have punched himself out there, he looks okay now, but he was definitely gassed at the end of that first round.
And once again comes flailing in with that left hand, absorbs an inside leg kick, nicely done by Shalaroos. And you see Shalaroos sort of biding his time and waiting for that big right hand.
Very impressed with the counter wrestling of Nurmagomedov, and here he is trying to finish a single of his own and gets it on Shalaroos. Very nice wrestling, and again, coming from Dagestan, Russia, you got to think he's got some very high-level wrestling, John.
And at least in the early going, no nerves whatsoever for Nurmagomedov. You'd think a guy who came to the United States shortly after Christmas. They actually opened the Russian embassy on Christmas Day to get him here. He wanted this UFC opportunity in a very bad way and has wanted it for quite some time, despite being just 23 years old and maximizing the opportunity, at least to this point.
Yeah, definitely. He said he wanted to do whatever it took to get into the UFC. This has been his dream, like every fighter, and this kid's coming all the way from Russia to achieve that goal. Trying to move into side mount. Nurmagomedov needs to get an underhook. There he is trying to secure it. Working some very nice ground and pound. And here he is with that double threat. Not only is he trying to advance his position, but he's also working his ground and pound position, keeping Shalaroos honest there. And that is the best and most efficient way, most devastating way to advance your position. It's not just his jiu-jitsu, his positioning, and his technique on the grappling, but also it's his ground and pound that's opening that up.
Nurmagomedov trying to move across that right leg, and Mario Yamasaki looking for more action and stands up the fighters here as we approach the 3-minute mark here in the second round of this lightweight battle between Shalaroos and Nurmagomedov. Very close fight, at least as far as the odds makers forecasted. Virtually even money on paper, and at least in the early going, Nurmagomedov having his way.
Yeah, you know, Nurmagomedov has very impressive record, 16-0. it's hard to know what kind of competition that is.
Sure.
You know, and comes in kind of as an unknown, but proving himself against a true veteran in Shalaroos. I mean, when's the last time we've seen Shalaroos out-wrestle, John?
That's the truth. Not really at all in his MMA career. Of course, Jim Miller got plenty done against him back in March of 2011, but there's a reason Shalaroos entered the UFC undefeated and getting all he can handle right now from the Russian newcomer.
You know, the coaches were very big on Nurmagomedov, saying that this kid came right from Russia, went right into some very hard training, and just were very impressed with his work ethic, his technique, and they expect big things from him.
Yeah, expectations and the hype both very high for Nurmagomedov, and again, been in the U.S. such a short time, you know, hard not to be impressed with what you've seen and hard not to think about how much better he can get.
No doubt about it. Here he is, just constantly moving, constantly working his hips, ground and pound. And these are the kind of fighters everybody loves to see, love to watch. Dangerous on the ground. Here he is trying to lock up a little turnover, but thought he was going to switch into a Darce choke or a guillotine, but fails on it.
And Nurmagomedov, you got to think too, gaining momentum and confidence in the matchup as this fight continues to go his way.
It's very impressive. If you look at the size difference, I know Shalaroos came in lighter than we're used to, but he's obviously much bigger, especially in the upper body. He's much bigger than Nurmagomedov, but Nurmagomedov's kind of throwing him around a little bit. Nice right hand from Harbib. Another one.
And once again, it seems as though Shalaroos not really putting any combinations together, just looking for that one big right hand to try to turn Nurmagomedov's lights out.
He's trying to counter Shalaroos, and there he is going for crazy techniques. He mixes in some unorthodox moves with his crisp striking, and I'm sure that's confusing Shalaroos a little bit. The way he leaps in with those uppercuts and hooks, John, very impressive.
Yeah, that uppercut certainly found its home there. So for Kamal Shalaroos, hasn't fought in 10 months. We'll see what the message is here from the former UFC veteran Anthony Hardon.
One more round. This was the second round. One more round. Okay. You're behind on points.
That's the last one?
This is the last round. One more round. This is the last round. You're behind on points. He has a few takedowns. Now. Yeah, great. Fake. Use the cross to the body. He drops. Use the cross to the body. Also, when you see the opportunity, do that cross and switch for the single. Try to take him down with the single. Cross, switch, single.
This is the last round?
One more round, yes, last round. Cross, switch, single.
Kenny, certainly can't be confidence inspiring when your fighter asks twice if this is the third and final round.
Yeah, not a good sign. Not a good sign, but some very good advice from Anthony Hardon, telling him to try to go to the body with his
There you go, last round, you ready?
With his cross, come up with the hook, and look for a single leg to get on top of his opponent, Nurmagomedov. And this is a big round for Shalaroos. He's going to have to do something big here.
Shalaroos has dealt with injuries over the last calendar year, staring at a 10-month layoff here tonight, and at least the first two rounds are an indication that perhaps there is a little bit of rust as he gets back to the big show. Once again, though, going for that big right hand.
Yeah, you know, I think there's a lot of that is due to his opponent, who's countering very well. Very impressive for his first fight in the octagon, first fight in the cage. Are you kidding me? Moving very well, very technical, countering. Looks like a veteran out there.
Really does. Shalaroos pursuing that single leg. Nurmagomedov having none of it.
I tell you what, when you get a high-level wrestler like Shalaroos, and we've seen it from him in the past, when he gets your leg, you're on your butt. I mean, this guy finishes takedowns, and not able to do that against Nurmagomedov. Unbelievable. I'm very, very impressed with this kid.
You saw the sprawl from Шалорус, but he ate another left hand, now working on a guillotine.
And look at that single leg takedown from Nurmagomedov. I don't think Šalorus is going to be able to finish this guillotine. Doesn't quite have his legs in the proper positioning, and you can see him slipping out. Probably going to bail on it. Nurmagomedov countering to the proper side, going to the far side of that headlock, and he's out.
Big hammer fist there from the top position for Nurmagomedov, and Šalorus's face starting to show some wear and tear at this point.
You got to be impressed with the conditioning of these guys. I mean, Nurmagomedov just has not stopped throwing punches inside mount, now into mount, and this could be bad news for Šalorus. And Nurmagomedov trying to get that rear naked choke. He's kind of in an awkward position, but looks like he's finishing it. That's it.
So the UFC and US debut for Khabib Nurmagomedov goes according to plan. Welcome to America. Beautiful performance, Coach.
What a debut for Nurmagomedov against a true veteran, Šalorus. He out-wrestled him, he outstruck him, and he finished in the third round with a great rear naked choke. Here he is pressuring him with his ground and pound. Kind of jumps over the guard of Šalorus. Right in the mount position, Šalorus tried to turn his back, but that only opened up a rear naked choke for Khabib Nurmagomedov, and here he is with the positioning, and it's game over.
And Šalorus, not an easy guy to finish, submitted here tonight for the first time in his mixed martial arts career. So high praise came in for Nurmagomedov, and he certainly lives up to the hype as he improves to 17-0. You better learn how to pronounce that name. Khabib Nurmagomedov not going anywhere. The official decision is yours next as UFC prelims. It's Fuel TV.